Hello, my little Peeblets. It's me, Peebs, and I'm back with another video for y'all to enjoy. This video, I'm going to tell you about my character, Clara, because I can, and I'm literally so Clara-pilled right now, it's insane. But also, since my animation is gaining some traction, I thought I'd give a little introduction for her finally, so that you all can get to know her and get to know her story. I mean, relatively. I don't want to spoil it because it's eventually going to be something that I create and I work with. So I'm not going to give you everything, even if you want it. So you'll just have to stay watching. Got 'em. But before I start, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Your support means everything to me, and it's what drives me to keep making videos. So thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep going. And also, if you have any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments below. Or if you have any art stuff that you'd like me to answer, I am all ears, baby. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and I love reading the comments. So it is a huge booster for me. But alright, let's get into the meat and potatoes, shall we? Clara is one of my favorite characters I have designed thus far. She's got everything that I love about a complex female character, specifically a complex evil female character. So don't come for me. She's just chef's kiss. I wanted to design a mad scientist type character, so if you didn't get that from her design, then I am not doing something right and I need to edit that. So let me know if you thought that. But I mostly drew inspiration from characters like Doc Ock from Spider-Verse and Agatha Harkness from Agatha. Yes, I know that these are both Catherine Hahn characters, please leave me alone! But I wanted a character who had actual motives for why they act a certain way and that they have a goal they are working towards, even if it's not for the greater good. Kind of like how Agatha has her goals and her reasons for why she acts a certain way. And I wanted a character who was a little more on the tragic side, because she didn't start off like this. She didn't start off crazy, but I love a mad woman, okay? And I will always defend women's wrongs, okay? But Clara's not the most stable individual. She pulls, like I said, she pulls from the tragic villain trope, which is another trope that I love. I love a tragic villain. I love a villain I can feel for. I love a complex character. Gosh! Clara is by no means a hero. In fact, she's actually the villain in her story. Hashtag spoilers. But she has a lot of reasons as to why she acts how she does, which ultimately leads her to her tragic fate. Ooh, scary. So let me give you a quick timeline on Clara's life. She was born and raised, well, hold on, actually, I have it pulled up. She was born April 13th, 1972 in Jacksonville, Florida. So she's also an older lady, which I do love, an older evil villain. But she was born in 1972, Jacksonville, Florida. Her parents' names are Henry and Beth. She was born and raised in a trailer park. So she did not really grow up with wealth, but she was very carefree, and she loved being in nature. She loved, like, catching little critters. Her and her dad would always go camping in national parks. She was very much so, like, an outdoorsy child, not a care in the world. She loved life, but in 1979, when she was 7 years old, a massive hurricane hit her hometown, which destroyed the trailer park where she lived, killing both of her parents and trapping Clara in the rubble for 3 days while she awaited rescue. So when this hurricane hit, the hurricane hit in August, peak hurricane season. I actually did a lot of research on this, so her backstory is very well fleshed out. But the city had been preparing for this hurricane for a while after spotting it on the radar a few days prior. And back then, hurricane prevention was not as detailed and in-depth as it is today. But the hurricane was believed to follow a different path when they were tracking it, so they prepared for it to hit further south. But the hurricane hit Jacksonville, and it was a Category 4 hurricane. Their trailer park was destroyed, and her family's trailer got swept up in the flooding, and both of her parents drowned. Clara, she was stuck in the rubble and awaited rescue, and she was too weak to call out, and she was stuck for days with no food or water. And this also led to a distrust in the government. But it's kind of funny considering where she ends up. Anyway, after she was rescued, she was put into foster care while the state tried to contact any living relatives. And thankfully, but not really thankfully, she got sent to live with her estranged grandmother, who was not the nicest of ladies. She was an old-fashioned Southern woman and was super wealthy. So she went to a family with money, but she was not treated well. She was quite emotionally abusive towards Clara and forced her to kind of uphold this high-class attitude and mentality, which Clara did not really agree with. She was forced to go to boarding school and perform to be the top of her class, but she was a very smart cookie. She loved science and nature and really enjoyed learning about all of that stuff. But when she graduated high school, she went to college on scholarship money and never looked back, and she graduated with a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry. Again, she's a very smart cookie. And then she ends up getting a job in the government, which is, again, it's funny because she doesn't really trust the government, but she wants to create a better world for people because of what happened to her when she was a kid, because of that climate catastrophe. She's trying to figure out ways to prevent it. So she's studying climate change and ways to prevent it using biological methods, because her degree's in biology with the minor in chemistry. And without spoiling too much, things go a little bit awry, and Clara, she ends up basically causing a huge disaster, and she turns into a monster in the process. And I think that her motives, she has good motives and a good reason for why she wants to do what she does, but just not the best execution. And also, again, she's not the most stable of individuals. After she graduates, she marries a man who she dated through her graduate school. He was in law school. His name was Benjamin Phillips. So Clara's name is Clara Phillips. And they got married, and for the most part it was a pretty good marriage, and she was pretty stable. But because of what happened to her when she was a child, she was diagnosed with PTSD and schizophrenia. Though she managed with medication, she stopped going to therapy, and work kind of got a little too much. And also then she gets pregnant, and that kind of spikes things a little bit as well. And so that's Clara's story. Again, I love her. She's such a tragic lady to me, and even though I made her, I designed her, I created her, and I love her so much. But the end of her story was kind of where I ran into a lot of troubles because of all the science stuff and all the nitty gritty, and I'm still working on that. It's still being fleshed out, especially like with her mental illnesses. I want to make sure I do all the proper research so that nothing is being misrepresented, because I know that with villain characters being portrayed with certain mental illnesses, I know that that's not, like, they're never portrayed in the best way. And so I want to make sure that I do my research, as well as, like, kind of making sure that her studies make sense in the terms of the real world. But also, again, it's a fictional story, so I can kind of push things, but I want things to be a little bit realistic. So that's kind of where I run into troubles. But I love her, and she's crazy, and she's the type of person to try and push the limits of the human experience without stopping to think about the consequences. She's very much so morally superior in her thinking, and everything she does is clouded by the idea that she's doing it to better society and to create a better world, but instead she damn near destroys it. But yeah, I don't want to spoil too much about Clara and her family life, mainly so her post-marriage life with Ben. But Ben, I do have a design for Ben. Right now he looks a little bit too much like John Egbert, so we have to work with that. But Ben is a sweet man. He, bless his heart, he deals with a lot with Clara, and he really, really loves her. But it does not work out, obviously. But yeah, that is my darling Clara Phillips, my mad woman. And I hope that this is just an introduction, so I hope you love her as much as I do just by being introduced to her. I want to do a lot more with her in the future, so I'm working with that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, I love you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, make sure to follow my social media, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.